You might be doing everything right, tracking ovulation, eating well, timing intercourse carefully. But then one stressful week happens, and suddenly you wonder, did stress just ruin my chances this cycle? Doctors hear this concern very often from couples trying to conceive, and the science is actually reassuring. Most everyday stress does not automatically stop ovulation or implantation. In this video, we'll calmly walk through what research says about stress, ovulation, and implantation, what stress can influence inside the body, and what many couples misunderstand about fertility and stress. By the end, you'll know which stress truly matters and which worries you can safely let go of. When couples are trying to conceive, stress often becomes part of the journey. Many parents quietly worry that every difficult day, every deadline, every emotional moment might somehow interfere with fertility. This concern is very common. Doctors from organizations like the NHS and ACOG often explain that the relationship between stress and fertility is more complicated than people think. Stress does affect the body, but it usually doesn't work in the simple stress equals no pregnancy way people imagine. And understanding this difference can remove a lot of unnecessary pressure. To understand this better, it helps to look at how ovulation is controlled inside the body. Ovulation depends on a communication system between three areas: the brain, the pituitary gland, and the ovaries. Doctors call this the hypothalamic-pituitary-ovarian axis. This system sends hormonal signals that tell the ovary when to release an egg. When the body experiences severe or chronic stress, stress hormones like cortisol can temporarily interfere with those signals. But this usually happens with long-term stress, not normal everyday pressure. Here's where many couples become confused. Feeling nervous during the 2-week wait, worrying about test results, or having a stressful week at work, these experiences are extremely common during the fertility journey. But studies in journals like Human Reproduction suggest that ordinary emotional stress alone rarely stops ovulation in otherwise healthy cycles. In other words, your body is usually much more resilient than you think. However, there are certain types of stress that can affect ovulation more strongly. Doctors sometimes see ovulation disruptions when the body experiences extreme physical stress, severe sleep deprivation, rapid weight changes, intense athletic training, or prolonged emotional trauma. In those situations, the brain may temporarily delay ovulation as a protective response. But even then, this effect is usually reversible once the body stabilizes. Now let's talk about implantation, another stage many couples worry about. After ovulation, the fertilized embryo travels through the fallopian tube and reaches the uterus. Implantation typically happens 6 to 10 days after ovulation. At this stage, the uterine lining prepares to receive the embryo. Some parents worry that emotional stress might block implantation, but doctors say implantation depends mostly on hormonal balance and uterine conditions, not short emotional stress episodes. Here is a myth that circulates widely online. If you feel stressed during the 2-week wait, implantation won't happen. This idea is not supported by medical evidence. Studies suggest that while extreme chronic stress can influence hormones, normal emotional stress does not directly prevent implantation. Many pregnancies begin during very busy, stressful times of life. So if you're feeling anxious while waiting for results, that feeling alone does not mean your body has failed. If you find explanations like this helpful, you can subscribe to ParentUno, where we calmly break down fertility science without unnecessary fear. Now let's talk about an important factor that sometimes gets missed: how stress affects lifestyle habits. Stress can sometimes change sleep patterns, eating habits, or alcohol use, and these lifestyle changes, rather than stress itself, may indirectly influence fertility. For example, poor sleep can alter hormonal rhythms. Skipping meals may affect blood sugar balance, and excessive alcohol can impact reproductive hormones. So, in many cases, it's not the emotional stress alone, but the habits surrounding stress that matter more. This is why doctors often recommend focusing on simple stability rather than perfect calmness. Regular sleep, balanced meals, moderate physical activity, and small daily relaxation routines. These supportive habits help the body maintain hormonal balance during the fertility journey, and they also make the waiting period a little easier emotionally. Most stress during fertility attempts is normal, but there are situations where speaking with a doctor may be helpful. For example, menstrual cycles that suddenly stop, cycles consistently longer than 40 days, missed ovulation for several months, or severe emotional distress affecting daily life. Doctors can evaluate whether stress, hormonal changes, or other medical factors might be involved. Seeking support is a responsible step, not a failure. So, what should you remember from all of this? Stress is part of being human, and for couples trying to conceive, emotional ups and downs are extremely common. Most everyday stress does not stop ovulation and does not block implantation. Your body's reproductive system is designed to work even during imperfect circumstances. What matters most is long-term health, stable routines, and supportive care. And if you ever feel uncertain, doctors are there to guide you. You don't have to navigate this journey alone. If you're trying to conceive, you may also be wondering something very practical. How often should couples actually have intercourse during the fertile window? Too often? Not enough? In our next video, we'll break down what fertility specialists say about the best frequency for intercourse when trying to conceive. You can find that video in the ParentUno fertility playlist. And if this video helped bring a little clarity to a stressful topic, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.